man. So my PC is a HP Z800 machine. I have an Intel processor, well, 2 Intel processors installed. So for a total of 24 hyper-threaded cores. In order for me to split my PC up so I can install mini PCs, you've got mini servers on this large computer, I actually install VirtualBox, that's from the Oracle website. In order for me to control these, well, I don't like the command line. The Windows command line, I just don't like it. I prefer Linux, so I actually install Git Bash on my Windows machine. I know that's not the right logo, so excuse me for that. In order to control VirtualBox, because I'm not going to go in manually in the graphical user interface and start creating virtual machines, I'd rather code it. So I actually install Vagrant on my machine. So via Vagrant, you can actually create a Ruby script and then control the creation of all your servers. And finally, CentOS. I install CentOS on my machine because that's the operating system I use for Linux. In a nutshell, this is what we're going to do. Here's my PC. Okay, it has 24 cores. So I know it's not 24, I'm just drawing it out. So a bunch of cores on there, and we also have 128 gigs, 128 GB of memory. Yes, memory, and this is CPU. And this is one big giant computer, okay? I don't want that. I want to carve this computer up. So basically I want to go from there to building a whole bunch of mini servers. Okay, they may have, let's say, 8 gig of RAM and 4 CPUs, virtual CPUs configured with them, and they'll also have CentOS Linux operating system installed. So what you see here, 8 gig of RAM, 4 virtual CPUs with CentOS operating system, that'll be duplicated for this, for this, for this, and this. Okay, that's what we're going to do. Yeah, on a machine. So basically, if you install VirtualBox on your PC, it gives us the ability to break up this big chunk of this big PC into these mini ones. So this is called a hypervisor. Yeah, hypervisor's job is to carve out one machine into multiple mini machines. Yeah, and Vagrant is our technology that I showed you, and that will be used to script the creation of these boxes. Right, this one script will literally say, okay, for machine number 1, configure it with the CentOS operating system, allocate 8 gigs of RAM, and allocate 4 virtual CPUs. For the next box, give it this name, give it this IP address, assign 8 gigs of RAM, this operating system, and 4 virtual CPUs, and it goes on and on and on. So that's what Vagrant can do. You can do other fancy stuff as well. You can actually tell it to start installing software on top of it as well. I'm not going to show you that. That's for future courses. So in a nutshell, I'll be taking my big beast of a box and breaking it up to this into this view, and this is what I call a cluster in a box or on your PC. And once you have this, then you can start installing Cassandra across these nodes, or Hadoop across these nodes, and start destroying nodes, right? You start saying, here's my cluster, how can I test to make sure it's resilient? So if you have a client here that's placing data into this cluster, you can start doing tests, right? You can say, okay, destroy that PC or that virtual machine. Does the cluster continue to work? See, it's very hard to do those types of testing in a single machine like this if it's not carved out. And also in production, because this is on my machine, right? So you can say this is like a test system. But in production, this is actually what goes on. There's a piece of software that carves up a big giant server into multiple mini servers. AWS, Amazon AWS, the EC2 technology, that's exactly what they do. One massive server, utilizing, I think it's Zen, as it is their version of VirtualBox, and they carve out that big massive server into mini servers. Okay, so don't think this is just a toy. That nobody does this in the real world. It actually is done in the real world. Just that I, as a developer, can create this environment on my PC, also give the environment to another developer, and they can then recreate my environment on their PC for testing, and then I can then show it to the operational guys, or the guys who need to push my solution into production, and those guys can look in and say, okay, we can create that. We'll utilize the production type software, the production version of VirtualBox, and the production software of Vagrant. Here we have a view of my desktop. Here, so top left corner is my file manager. We have top right is my Vagrant window, so this controls the types of nodes that I actually want to build in terms of how much memory I want the node to have, how many CPU cores. These are virtual CPU cores. The bottom left is VirtualBox itself, so that's the virtual machine that will be built. And the bottom right is basically all my Vagrant commands. So I'll actually do a Vagrant up, and then that would then spin up my virtual machine. So think about it. So again, this is the scripting area, the top right. So this is where I'm going to write the scripts. The bottom right, that's where I actually then do a Vagrant command. That Vagrant command reads the Vagrant script and executes the code in that script. It's Ruby code, and basically that talks to VirtualBox. So that's the bottom left, and VirtualBox will then start spinning up on a virtual machine. So let's actually see that in action. So we don't really need a file manager on the top left. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do a Vagrant status. Oops, daisy. What I'm going to do here is do a Vagrant status. That's going to quickly read the configuration file, in the top right, and list the nodes it's going to generate. Here we go. So it's going to generate for me a Cloudera manager. Nodes, that's this first one here. It's going to generate a Cloudera manager. It's going to generate 3 management nodes for me, and it's going to generate 8 data nodes for me. And you can see here it's not created, so basically it's just these virtual machines are not in place, and you can tell that from the VirtualBox on the far left here that there's nothing listed. So as soon as I start doing Vagrant up, that basically means boot up all of these, all of the virtual nodes. And this is what I find so amazing about this particular technology, because look, it's a script. I can write a script. I can assign individual host names. I can assign individual IP addresses. I can assign memory. I can design different types or different numbers of virtual CPUs to each one of these nodes. And that's exactly what I've actually done. If you can read this, if I scroll up in this script, you can see here for my Cloudera manager, I'm assigning 12 gigs of RAM for my management nodes. So these are the ones that manages the cluster itself. I've allocated 8 gigs of RAM, and for the actual data nodes, the one that will store data or perform computation, I've actually allocated 6 gigs. Okay, so right now it's very good. I'm just going to execute. It's going to go through this array and actually build up these nodes. It's going to take some time to do so. So let's do that. Vagrant up. Let's execute. And what I actually want you to see is, well, 2 things. The bottom 2 windows. On the left hand side, you're going to see the virtual machine start to spin up. That's the VirtualBox on the left. And on the right hand side, you can see the actual script being executed. So right now, it is basically processing the very first node. The dev manager is importing this virtual machine here. Yeah, so there's a virtual machine. That's the base machine, if you like. It's going to call it this guy, and it's going to start configuring it. Yeah, so there you go. It's progressing here. 90%. That's in reading up the base virtual machine. Yeah, so let's go, and here we go. So it's setting right now the IP address, it's setting the ports, booting the actual virtual machine up. So this is a server. So this is going to take quite a while because obviously it's booting up. What is it? 3. So that's what 11, 12 nodes here. So in effect, I can basically walk away. I mean, this is the amazing thing about this technology. Again, this is part of the automation, right? So for developers, I can give this one script to a developer, and as long as their desktop machine is powerful enough,
I can give them the script with the base box, the definition of the base virtual machine. They can place this on their machine, go in, do a very good up, grab their coffee, go off to the coffee machine, make them some coffee, maybe get a sandwich, have a laugh with some colleagues, and talk about the latest episodes of EastEnders, if you like, and the latest film that's out there. Star Trek movie seems quite good at the moment. We can have a little banter, have a laugh, have a joke, show the latest Apple products to each other, and then come back to the desk, and there'll be 12 servers purring away on their desktop, waiting for me to start installing stuff. I'm going to let this run for a while, and at the end, then we can see these nodes running up. At last, so that took about 16 minutes to run